Welcome back to Cleveland Stage Door. Today's episode is such a joy because I'm sitting down with the incredible Valerie Fagan, who is currently appearing as Earth Mother in Menopause the Musical 2, currently at Playoff Square through Sunday. Val has had an extraordinary career in theater, including being an original Broadway cast member of the Addams Family and originating the 25th anniversary edition of Forbidden Broadway. In our conversation, she shares what it's like to step into roles that connect so deeply with the audiences, how humor becomes a powerful bridge between performer and crowd, and why laughter is sometimes the most important takeaway of all. We also talk about the challenges and vulnerability that come with performing, the joy of creating and writing your own work, what she's learned about staying true to herself, both on stage and off. This is one of those conversations that's equals parts inspiring, honest, and fun. So sit back, relax, and enjoy my conversation with Valerie Fagan here on Cleveland Stage. Hey, Valerie, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me. How's Cleveland so
Oh,
far?
I love it. I love, I do you guys remember this old theater called let me see, it was called the Carousel Dinner Theater in Akron? This is a while
Oh,
back
I do remember
and
that. Yeah,
yes, I was like the queen of the Carousel Dinner Theater. I did all the shows there and then we would come here and party.
that's
Cleveland was our
awesome.
party place.
What were some of your shows that you did down there?
I did like Guinevere and Camelot, Nellie Forbush, Eliza
Wow,
Doolittle, and My Fair Lady, all the old classics. Yeah, it was a blast.
that's awesome. That's awesome. What a local connection that is.
Oh
And now
yeah,
you're
and I have a
back.
lot of friends in Cleveland too.
That's that's incredible. Now you're back. You are here with Menopause the Musical 2.
Yes.
For anyone new to the show, how would you describe your role in one sentence?
Well, I would say I'm called the Earth Mother, so I'm kind of like the hippie, kind of like the lady who brings everybody together, and she's kind of laid back and she's kind of like the comedic relief in the show, which is a blast. It's so much fun.
I love that. I love
I
that.
wear this like wild curly wig, I don't look like, the mom hair that I have right
So
now.
what was your reaction when you were first offered this role?
It was right after the pandemic. And
Really?
so,
Wow.
yeah, I got a call I honestly, as we all thought, during COVID, we'd never work again. So this was my first show back. So it was
Wow.
a fun show to come back. It's just, it's like a party for a lot of ladies. They bring moms bring their daughters and it was a fun thing to come back. At least I wasn't doing like Streetcar Named Desire when I came back from from the pandemic.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's incredible. So, your role, Mother, you mentioned it earlier. It's what do you love most about stepping into her energy every night?
I love it because as you can probably tell, I'm usually cast as the mom next door, I get to play this wild woman who is, I mean, this is okay. I'm going to tell on myself. This is how straight I am. I was with my friend in the dressing room last night and I was like, God, it smells like a skunk in here. What's that skunk smell? She's like, Val, that's weed. So I get to play this character who's a lot hipper than I am in real life. That's what I love about this character,
I
you
love
know.
that. I love that. That's very funny. The show, if I read correctly, I've not seen the show. So, the show connects with audiences in a very real, very personal way. What is something
Yeah.
you notice audiences responding to instantly?
The thing that I love about it is because we get to see the audience react and how they come along in the journey. And I think the thing that's the most wonderful is you get to see these women and they come in, you can tell they're coming in with the burdens of like watching CNN all day, and they're just kind of like, you could just tell that they just need to laugh. And by the end of the show, they're up and they're dancing with their friends, and they just really get to cut loose. And that's what this show's a party. It's a party. Not just for women, because guys come see the show. Now when you see the guys in the audience, okay, now first they are like, I don't want to be here. Why am I my wife dragged me to this show? And then by the end they're up and they're dancing too, so it's a blast to see that, that it's just a party, it's mindless theater, which I love. It's
Yeah.
like we do touch on real things and what women our age go through, and so there is a little bit of seriousness behind this, just a little bit, because like the woman called the Iowa housewife, she just lost her husband, and we're there to kind of
Well,
like get her into the party atmosphere. But underneath all of that, it's just fun. It's
uh,
just a blast.
to follow up with that,
Yeah.
is there any unexpected emotional responses that still surprise you?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of times by the end of the show, we're crying and they're crying through smiles, but like we have this scene where we grab each other's hands and sway back and forth. The audience starts to do that in front of us, and there's such a connection with the show. And I think that's what I love the most about it. It's a little bit like, and this is what I loved about Forbidden Broadway too, the show that I did that was
Yeah.
also a parody show. It was a little bit like stand up, where you get to break the fourth wall, see people, look them in the eye. And yeah, last night we had four women that were swaying with us and they were crying with us.
Wow.
So, it's a real emotional connection because we're all they're just seeing themselves on stage. We are them, you
Absolutely.
know.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
you perfectly swinged into my next topic.
Yeah.
You originated the 25th anniversary edition of Forbidden Broadway.
Yes,
That
I did.
show requires a very sharp timing. How did that experience help shape you?
Well, have you seen that show?
I have not.
It's like Saturday Night Live with music, and we do like 20 costume changes in the show. You run off stage, you change characters, you have to have a voice that can sing like rock and soprano or
Wow.
Ethel Merman. I was Ethel Merman in the show, and it taught me the most probably about doing stand up because we use one mic, and I would do shows that if you didn't make them laugh, they would just get up and walk out. So
Wow.
it's like you had to learn fast how to make people laugh,
That's
and that's what I
crazy.
love the most about it. Yeah, yeah.
That's
It. I learned probably how to be basically a stand-up comedian by doing Forbidden Broadway.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. That definitely gets you ready for it.
Yeah.
And then another one, you were original cast member in the Addams Family on Broadway.
Yes. Yeah.
What do you remember most about being a part of that original company?
Probably that I broke my tooth in half from stress.
Oh no.
I was I was cast as the swing. Okay. Now, usually the swing is just like a young dancer in the show, and occasionally they have to go on for the principals.
Mhm.
Well, I was the first cover for Alice, Carolee Carmela, the first cover for Jackie Hoffman, and I had to learn all the dance roles
Wow.
and cover everybody. And I'm not even a dancer, but they were like, well, you better learn this or you're going to, lose your Broadway show. So I taught myself how to dance. I probably shouldn't say this, with a spy pen, a Korean spy pen, because we were not allowed at that time to make videos of the show. So
Mhm.
I had, well, actually, you were allowed to make videos, but BB didn't want us to make videos. So I had a Korean spy pen that I would be in the back, kind of like, I'd be like, oh, and I'd have my spy pen right here going, wow, look what they're doing. Okay, that's fascinating. And then I would go home to my living room and teach myself how to dance.
Wow.
So it
Wow.
was the most stressful, fun job I've ever had in my life. And then like they'd call me for the matinee and they'd say, you're on for Jackie, which is this old witchy, she's the old grandma. So I'd black out my teeth. And then that night they'd say, you're on for Alice, which is the mom next door.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
probably in a week I would play sometimes, 10 characters,
Wow.
when people started calling out,
Wow. That's
so
wild.
it was
That's
intense.
that is very intense.
So my dentist made $2,000
Wow.
because my tooth, I guess I was grinding my teeth so hard at night, I broke it in half. And he was like, do you have a
Mm,
stressful job? And I was like, yeah, I do. I do.
wow,
Yeah.
wow. So another part of your journey has been you co-wrote the award-winning Six Women with Brain Death.
Yes.
What does writing your own work give you that performing alone doesn't?
That's a great question because you write your own material, and if it works, it feels so great. But if you
Mhm.
write a joke and it doesn't land and the people don't laugh at it, it's like a double blow as an actress. You're like,
Mm, mm.
oh, is it my writing that made this not land? Was it my delivery? So, I learned a lot about writing comedy in Six Women with Brain Death.
Wow.
Like, okay, this will work, or you've got to take out this word. I learned about the old comedy in threes, and I learned a lot just by getting up in front of the audience and just doing my own material.
I was gonna ask, have you ever, like, done stand-up
You
outside
know,
of
my friends
musicals?
want me to do stand up. They do. I think that would be the scariest thing in the world to do. I just think that would be horrifying. I've had to play roles as a stand up comedian where you do sets in front of the audience.
Mhm,
Do
mhm.
you know who Minnie Pearl is? I had to play
I
Minnie
I do not.
Pearl. I'm sure you don't. Well, she. You look like too hip of a guy to know who Minnie Pearl is. So, she was like this country western lady. She's like, howdy. And I had to entertain the audience as Minnie Pearl. And that was like, 15 minutes of stand up. So my
Wow.
friends are like, you could do stand up, Val, but I don't know.
They I've talked to a
It's,
couple comedians, like, I talked to the guys from, Whose Line Is It Anyway? And
oh, yeah,
they were saying
yeah.
the same thing, like, the first, like, probably 2 years, they were worried and then scared out of their mind doing stand-up, but they got into it for sure.
It's fun because we do kind of stand up in this show because they wrote us monologues,
Okay.
where we're standing on stage and I'm there for like 5 minutes making the audience laugh. So the more I do it, the more I'm like, maybe I could get into stand up because it is fun when it works.
Yeah, yeah,
When it works. But, a show
exactly.
like this, the women are on your side. You walk in and you're them, so they're going to be laughing. Can you imagine if I walked in and it was like a bunch of 22-year-old guys and I'm like, hey, hi, boys. Let's do some stand up.
Oh,
Mom's
that's
going to
funny.
tell you how funny she is. I mean, that would be hard. That would
Yeah,
be hard.
yeah,
So,
absolutely, I couldn't do it either, so I get you.
uh, yeah.
I can't even talk in, like, public, like, I could do this recording stuff, but I can't even talk, like, on an actual microphone and talk in front of people, so
Yeah, it's a
I
little
totally get that.
scarier, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, so
Have you ever been on stage before?
not as anything like not as, like, a performer, I've been, like, a tour manager and stuff like that,
Oh, okay,
so,
okay. Did you
um
tour like rock bands or something?
mhm, yeah.
So what happened today where you're like, rock band or Menopause the musical?
Well,
Let's see.
now this is just all musical theater. I've always loved musical theater. So, like,
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
interview someone from almost every show that comes through Playout Square in the
Oh,
last
that's
3 years.
cool.
Like, I have an interview next week with, someone from Miss Doubtfire. So that was
Oh,
so that's
fun.
exciting. So
Wow.
wrap this up. Finally, I have two
Cool.
last questions for you. So, it's kind of a two-piece here. So, if Earth Mother could give one piece of advice to the audiences navigating life, hormones, chaos, what would it be?
I would just say we're living in rough times. We know that.
Mhm.
So just try to just turn off the TV, laugh, get with your friends. We live with all of us, live with our faces, in our iPhones, and just go out with your friends and have fun and have drinks and just laugh, and don't take life so seriously. Because, yeah, when you turn on the news, it's horrifying what we see,
Yeah, yeah,
it's horrifying. So it's like,
absolutely.
just get with your friends and have fun because, you get one life and this is it. This is your one life. And you don't want to spend it watching CNN all day,
Right, right,
So get out
exactly.
there and just have a blast because, this is it. This is our life, one life to live.
Exactly, exactly. So, last question here is one question I ask every single person I talk to. If you can go back to when you first started your career, what is one piece of advice you would give yourself?
I would say try to be more yourself, Val.
Mm,
It's like don't try to please people anymore. You know what you're doing. Don't try to please the director. Don't try to please the audience. Just live your own experiences and know that you're enough. And that's a hard thing to do when you're a young person. You just don't think you're enough. So it's like,
Mhm.
yes, you're enough. So just be yourself. And just let everything go and don't be self-conscious. And I would say I was so self-conscious because I wanted to get everything right. I
Mhm.
was one of those
Mhm.
girls that wanted to get A's, and it's like, just let it go and just be yourself. So that's probably the advice I'd give.
Fantastic
Yeah.
advice. Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
So, Valerie, thank you so much for joining me. Menopause the musical is here through January 11th at Hannah Theater. Um, Tickets are available on playoscore.org. Any other last thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, thanks, Jimmy. This is great.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We will see you next time. Thank you, Valerie. Enjoy Cleveland, and thank you for joining me. Appreciate it.